Hello, and welcome to the May reading wrap-up. Hello, buddy. Humphrey's here to join us. I'm here to have a little chat about the books that I read this month. So, as per usual, get your water, a little ice water, and a fun beverage. This month we're doing something different. We're doing a tipsy book review. So I have a little margarita that I just made. It's a little strong. Probably could have used a little bit more agave, but that will power us through this review. So let's get the story graph pulled up. I didn't prepare like last time. I did not write like a whole script. We're just gonna go off the cuff and hope that I remember what I read. We are ready to rock and roll. First book that I finished this month is Sunrise on the Reaping. This was a much anticipated book for me. I finished the Hunger Games series back in March, my reread of it, and then I finished Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes in April in anticipation for this one, which lived up to the hype as much as I could have anticipated it. So this follows Haymitch's games and everything that he went through to kind of overthrow the Capitol, like follows Haymitch. And it was really cool to see everyone from the Hunger Games trilogy, the original trilogy, in this book, like Wirus and Mags and Beatty. Am I missing anyone? Plutarch and Katniss's parents, which I saw the last name and I was like, oh, is that like her grandparents? I did not put together that was like her parents. So that was very cool to see also. And the ending had me absolutely in a puddle, just sobbing. I'll put a picture of what I looked like when I finished it, but it was just so good. And the epilogue just made me cry even more. And then reading all like the fan theories and the Easter eggs that people had found online afterwards just made me cry even more because Suzanne Collins put so much forethought into this book. I don't know, and it came at a really good time too, just like politically or whatever. So very good book. The ending, I don't want to think about it because I will cry again. But yeah, this one got 4.75. I loved it. I will admit I fell into a little bit of a book slump after finishing Sunrise on the Reaping. It just ended up being kind of a heavier book and I didn't want to read anything after that really. I don't know, I just kind of wanted to exist in the Hunger Games world for a little bit longer. We went to Seattle and we went to Ophelia's bookstore and I found this little guy, Hunchback by Sao Ichikawa. It was in like the little recommended section. It was small. The premise seemed interesting, so I picked it up and I finished it when we were in Seattle. And this is about this woman with, what is her disease? A muscular congenital disorder. So she's just kind of like crunched up. She has a lot of trouble doing like regular day-to-day activities. She lives in a home and she decides that she wants to experience pregnancy, which one, probably difficult for her, but two, she don't want to keep a baby. She wants to be pregnant just to abort it. So it kind of goes through like her story living in this home. She's like a blogger. She does a lot of like weird kind of trolly online posts, and he follows her like resident that works with her. And he finds that post and he's like, we can do something about it, I guess. So yeah, it is a really weird book. I almost feel like I have to read it a second time to like fully understand everything that went on in it, especially at the end, because it like changes perspective. Or I don't know if she's like, I don't really know what was happening at the end, but it was interesting. It was weird, very weird. The description of her disability was also so interesting to read because the author herself has this disorder, and just reading about reading, because the author is like, you take it for granted, you can sit up, you can hold the book, you can hold it open, you don't have to like maneuver yourself to read this, and you have eyes and you can read this. You know, there's so many things that go into reading that like, I don't know, we maybe take for granted the fact that I can hold this book and open it and hold it and read it. So it's just interesting to read also. But yeah, the act of reading a physical book is like such a barrier, and that's something that I don't really think about. So not taking it for granted anymore. But yeah, this was really eye-opening, but very, very strange. But it got me out of the reading slump, so I'll take it. I will say it partially got me out of the reading slump. Because after finishing that one, I was like, well, what am I going to read now? I have all of these big, lofty things on my TBR, the Poppy War and God of the Woods and all these things that I want to read. And I don't want to read anything. So, what do we do when that happens? Smut. Alien romance. Next on the list is Choosing Theo by Victoria Aveline. And this, I don't know. I don't know. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It kind of follows all the same premises as an alien romance does. This woman gets kidnapped from her life on Earth and dropped on an alien planet. And she has to survive and figure out, like, what do I go from here? Who can I trust? What do I do? And this group of people takes her in, and they have, like, I guess it happens frequently in that world that humans just get dropped off. So they have kind of like a little council that helps them through, and they also have this marriage ritual, and they're like, you have to participate in it. Sorry, too bad, so sad. We're gonna parade a bunch of hot men in front of you, and you pick a few, and you'll be married to them. And she's like, ah! I don't want to do that. But she doesn't have any alternative because they have to keep her for a year because of some agreement that intergalactic agreement that they have or something. So she has to go through with the marriage arrangement. She sees all these men in front of her, and she finds this dark, brooding, scarred, handsome alien. And she's like, I want that one. And they're like, you sure about that? You sure you want that one? And she's like, yeah, I want that one. And it's not even so much that, like, he's a bad person or they're scared of him. Like, everyone she talks to knows him and talks really highly about him. But he's just been shunned, I guess, because of his past. So they get married. He's like real grumpy, and she's like, I have to make the best of my time, and love ensues. I don't know what it says about me that I loved it so much. I read it in a day. It was so good. Just sat in this spot right here, just giggling, kicking my feet, having the best time ever. That one got 4.5 stars. It was I have half a mind to read the whole series now because that one was so good, but we're gonna take it easy. I'm not gonna overload on alien romance, but very, very good. Next on the list is another weird one. I feel like this was kind of the month of really weird reads. And it is Milk Fed by Melissa Broader. What is this about? A woman with an eating disorder living her life, and she ends up meeting this nice Jewish girl at a yogurt shop and kind of like falling in love with her just because she's so free and she can just eat whatever she wants, and she's so just comfortable in her body, and this girl is not. She has such like a rigid set of things that she has to adhere to, and this girl just like frees her from that. It was really interesting, a little, I don't know, triggering with like the food rules and the food stuff, but very good. And it also goes through like this girl, I don't remember anyone's names, sorry. It goes through this girl and her relationship with her mother, and how she just wants to be loved by her mother so bad in this specific way that she wants to be loved. And her therapist is like, you can't keep going to a hardware store looking for milk. Like, you can't keep going to your mother looking for this like nurturing relationship and expect it from her. She can't give it to you. So it's kind of her figuring out how to deal with that while coming into herself, because she had came out as bi to her mom before, and her mom was like, oh hell no, we're not doing that. I don't accept you. So it's her distancing herself from her mom and finding herself as just who she is. And yeah, I did enjoy it, but it was a little weird. Again, weird month of books. So that one got 4 stars. Next is one that I found on TikTok. It's Triple Threat by Kay Webster, and I don't remember how I found it. I think it was this girl that was like describing plots of books with like this elderly woman in the background, and she was like, where can I find a book where 3 men, 3 triplets like pretend to be one and they date this girl? And I was like, okay, that sounds intriguing. Consider me intrigued. I want to know what happens. But it sucked. I hated it. I mean, it wasn't so bad in the beginning. It started off kind of high, like okay, I'm into it, this is interesting. Like, these 3 triplets are kind of like contracted with their uncle to do dubious jobs, and they are hired to get in with this like billionaire tech guy's daughter to like destroy him. And they are all pretending to be one person. She does not know that. So she goes to school with one, another one like tutors her deaf sister, and the other one, I don't remember what he does. He's kind of like not really that involved. And she can like sense that something is like off about them because his eye color changes, because they're triplets. They're not like, I mean, they're identical, but whatever. So it's her like interacting with these 3 people, thinking that it's one person, them like using her and being weird with her, and they're like competitive with each other, and one kisses her and he's like, I kissed her, and the other one's like, well, I did this with her, and the other one's like, well, I did this with her. And it's just like kind of gross. I don't know, I couldn't really get behind that. It was okay to suspend the disbelief for a little bit, but after a while I was like, I don't like this anymore. And then towards the end I was getting interested, because it's like, okay, we're getting somewhere with the plot, we're like, things are coming to a head, and then it stopped. So I did not like the ending. I did not, that put a sour taste in my mouth for the whole thing. So I got 1.5 stars. Don't recommend. Don't like that one. Next on the list is one that Mason recommended to me, in like books that are like a little TikTok carousel of like books that are messed up, which is like one of my favorite genres. But it's called Walking Practice by Drinky Min. And this is, I don't even know that I really knew like what the premise was going into it. But it's about an alien who's horny, I don't know, who has sex with various people to consume them, to just eat them. They are the food. So yeah, it's really interesting, but really weird. It had a lot of like body horror elements, like describing how this alien has to like keep itself in a human format, and like how it has to keep its legs moving and its little arms like intact, or else it'll just spill out all over the place and like go back to its alien form. So that was interesting. It also kind of gave me No Longer Human vibes. Like at first reading it, I was like, oh, this is just about a person that doesn't feel like a person, but it is actually an alien. But yeah, this alien is just like struggling to keep up with humanity. It really hates stairs, which is kind of funny and interesting. And yeah, you just can't really tell if they want to assimilate or if they just like want to be on the periphery of society. Reading it physically was also pretty cool, and reading like the translator's note at the end, because it is a Korean translated novel, and reading about how they had to take the novel in Korean and how there was like characters that kind of like, I don't know how to describe it because I don't read Korean, but they like did something with the Korean characters to denote that like this is the alien talking, and when it was just like the human form, it's in regular text. So the English translator had to like figure out how to do that for English, and they changed the kerning on the font, which was like really interesting to read. It was a little bit hard to read on the Kindle. I don't know if it's easier to read physically, but yeah, that was interesting also. So very weird little book, but it got 4 stars. Next on the list is one that I've heard about this author online, Chuck Tingle. He's kind of popular for really weird books like Pounded in the Butt by my book, Pounded in the Butt, and the sequel, Pounded in the Butt by my book, Pounded in the Butt by my book, Pounded in the Butt. Just like stupid stuff like that. But when I looked him up on Amazon to see if anything was on Kindle Unlimited, this one was, and it's Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. And I feel like it was kind of a weird introduction to his stuff, but I did really enjoy it. It's a horror book. I was about to say it's very horrific, but duh, it's a horror book. And again, I kind of didn't really know exactly what it was about going into it. I thought it was going to be about this person's experience in a gay conversion camp, but it starts off with like this girl who is, I think she's a Mormon. She lives in Montana and is like extremely religious and struggling with her sexual identity. And her parents are like, you're fine, whatever, you should date this boy. And she's like, I don't really want to. I don't know why, I just don't really want to. And weird things start happening to her. and she starts seeing this demon, and she's trying to tell her parents, like, I'm seeing something weird, I don't know really what's happening. And they're like, you're crazy. Don't talk about that, don't think about that. They're coming to you for a reason. It's because you're bad. It's because you're bad and you're sinning. Sorry. And she ends up getting in a car crash, and when she's like being medicated to heal her body, she has this vision of being strapped down and something happening, like a demon stepping out of like a rip in the space-time continuum. So she's then trying to figure out like what exactly happened to her. And I don't know if I can say anything more than that without spoiling it. But it was very interesting to just see like the horrific aspect. Gay conversion camp is horrific in its own, but add demons to it, it's even worse. So yeah, again, there's a bit of a weird introduction to Chuck Tingle. I do kind of want to read the rest of his stuff just out of curiosity, him and Quan Mills. So we'll see if anything pops up for those two authors in the future. But yeah, that one got 4 stars. I did like it. And last on the list is probably, I don't want to say it's my favorite one of the month, because Sunrise on the Reaping was also really good, but it is Sky Daddy by Kate Folk. We went to, I'm going to say it again, we went to Seattle. We went to Bainbridge Island, and there's a little bookstore called Eagle Harbor Books, and I was walking through the fiction section, and this little spine just jumped out at me. I don't know, I liked the colors. I was like, Sky Daddy. And then I saw the plane, and I was like, okay, count me in. And I didn't really know what was gonna happen in it based on just the cover, but it's about this woman who just has this extreme sexual desire to die in a plane crash. She thinks that will like bond her and the plane forever in holy matrimony, just dying in a fiery crash with the plane. And I don't know, I have probably 3 special interests. One is like health and nutrition sciences, one is nuclear disasters, and the third one is planes. I love planes. So this was such a riot, and I don't know, it was just so funny. Like every other page I was tabbing up with something that I found funny. If I may indulge you, let's just find a random one. I never understood the complacency with which ordinary people regarded the miracle of flight. She just has such a reverence for these planes, and it's insane, and she's just batshit crazy. I wanted to assure the smirking silver fox that I only wanted to marry a pilot to maximize my access to planes before commercial flight became financially prohibitive due to the collapse of fossil capitalism. It's just freaking hilarious. I had the best time with it. And I wanted to read it so fast because it was so good, and I had to really take my time with it and be like, okay, let's not read it too fast, let's savor it. And it was so good. I don't know what else to say about it. You could tell that like something is like not right with her. She might be a little bit autistic, but just seeing like how she interacts with people, how she interacted with her friend, and like what a nice friendship that they had at the end. I don't know, that added an element to it too that I really enjoyed. But this, such a good book. 5 stars, obviously. I loved it. So that's it. That's everything that I read in May, everything I read this month. Plans for June, I do have some on my Kindle that I got from Kindle Unlimited that I'm really interested to read. One of them is another like kind of effed up one. Maybe we'll carry on the weird book, but it's called Tampa, and it's supposed to be like really messed up. We'll see if I even finish it. We'll see if I even start it based on how I do. I also started Our Wives Under the Sea yesterday, which I've had on my TBR for a really long time and should be really good. And then I have my 3 library books that I haven't touched. I think God of the Woods put me into a little slump as well because it is moving so slow. But yeah, that's everything that I got this month. I hope you enjoyed. Stay hydrated, take care, and make good choices. Bye!